You like being in the warm weather, don't you? It's not so bad sometimes.
I say it beats the cold weather this time of year.
Okay. I want to start off by talking about some cold weather that's taking place, not here, but half a world away. We were just talking before you came on about the situation that exists with Crimea and President Putin of Russia and President Obama and the European Union. You said something very interesting. You said most important things happen over a meal. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think that every important decision that happens in everyone's life takes place. Good or, happy or sad occasions takes place over a meal. So maybe, as you were suggesting, we bring everyone to the table over a great meal. We work out some world crisis.
Would you do it if they came to you?
I'd have to say I would make myself available.
Well done. All right, now you've made yourself available in the world of culinary arts in so many ways. I want you to start off by talking about how, in your mind, did culinary arts become celebrity chefs?
Food Network. Food Network, who celebrated their 20th anniversary last year in October, I think they made it accessible. They brought it into your home every day. What could be more inviting than the face of somebody like a Rachel Ray, Giada De Laurentiis, or Bobby Flay?
Yeah, but there were chefs before. Remember, there was the Galloping Gourmet,
Absolutely.
there was Julia Child, so there was exactly a different way to present all this.
They made it accessible. They made it friendly. I think the difference is that the Food Network talent made it cool and made it look like fun. Julia Child, you were cooking your dinner. If you weren't cooking your dinner, you had no interest in how she was making that chicken. Rachel or Bobby or Giada, even if you don't cook, you're interested in what they're doing. I had dinner last night in Washington, D.C. with my brother, and his girlfriend was saying, oh, she doesn't cook at all. I'm like, oh, great. She goes, but she loves the Food Network. And I'm like, why would you watch the Food Network? She goes, I watch everything. I said, for what possible reason? She goes, they're just so inviting. And she goes, they make me want to cook, I just can't do it. So that was really interesting to hear somebody say that. Even though they have no desire to cook, they love those familiar faces coming into your home every day.
It's a social experience as much as anything else, right? I mean, it's culinary, but it's also social, and that's something that you've taken to this level of creating these festivals. Tell us about that.
Well, for the most part, you eat out not because you're hungry. You eat out because you want to. It's what you do every night. I mean, if I didn't eat out, sadly, every night, I probably don't know what I'd be doing. I'd be going home and working. So we eat out really social, and then, obviously, when you're hungry. As far as taking it to the next level, I think what we've done with our Food Network Wine and Food Festivals is really listen to the people. We take the greatest pop culture culinary talents on the network. We take the greatest white tablecloth and Michelin-rated chefs, and we put them together in really, as Emerald says, the Super Bowl of food weekends. And we, everything from a 4,000-person burger bash to a taco and tequila event to a fried chicken event to a dessert event to hands-on seminars to small wine tastings. We have something for everyone, and it's not hard. Not everyone likes the opera, not everyone likes the ballet, not everyone's into fashion. Everybody eats, and we have something that appeals to everyone.
This stuff has got to be expensive to put on, isn't it?
It is expensive. Even though we're a charity, our New York Festival benefits...
Tell people about how you are a charity.
Well, I am personally not a charity, although...
No, you're not, but the event.
Our South Beach Festival benefits the Chaplin School of Hospitality and Tourism Management at Florida International University. 100% of the net proceeds go to them. We've raised about $23 million to date. And our New York City Festival benefits the Food Bank for New York City and Share Our Strength, two amazing hunger organizations. So 100% of the benefits go to them and over $8 million to date.
Does that also play a role in this? Because that hospitality, I mean, that's a word that encompasses hospitality not only at your table, but at someone else's table as well.
Absolutely. I think what we do, we bring pleasure to people's life. I think that, at the end of the day, when people wake up, what do? They talk about where they ate dinner last night. At lunchtime, what are they doing? Talking about where they're eating tonight or where they're going tomorrow night. So I think as long as people keep eating, which it doesn't look like they're stopping, and drinking, which we know they're not stopping, I think there'll always be a place for our festivals.
Okay, I want to ask you about one particular chef, and you know who I'm going to ask you about, Paula Deen. It has to do with her comeback. And you were talking about talking, so she says she's back in the saddle. She's going to be opening a brand new restaurant, and she chose your festival in Miami Beach, in South Beach, to kind of make sure that people were aware of this. What do you think about this? Because she's got a career, I know it goes back, she was in movies at one point. In 2005, she was in Elizabethtown, as well as being a
Right, with Bloom.
Right, with Orlando
Bloom. Right. What do I think about her comeback? Oh, not surprising. I think, I'm a big fan and a dear friend of Paula, and she needs to work like everyone needs to work, and I think that she went through a rough time, and I think she made some mistakes. And I think that, once again at South Beach, she said, listen, I'm sorry if I offended you, or because I offended you, I am sorry. And I think it's...
Good point, right? Because.
Because.
Yes.
I think it wasn't a matter if I offended you. I think clearly, Paula, her comments offended many people, many people. And I think that it was important for her, once again, to say, hey, not if I offended you, but I offended you. I am so sorry. I'm moving on with my life, and please allow me to. And, this is a country...
Well, it's also, it's interesting you say that, because when you have a it's the difference between, let's say, a culinary chef that might not be very well known and a celebrity chef, someone whose name and whose comments will get talked about no matter where they are.
The rest of her life.
Okay. And now you also are well connected with other celebrity chefs, Bobby Flay, for example. Talk a little bit about how, can you sense whether someone's got that extra sparkle, that they're going to be that combination of chef but also celebrity and person that you want in your house in the morning?
Well, speaking of Bobby Flay, I'm eating in his new restaurant, Gateau, tonight in Miami Beach.
So you better say
not
that...
Miami Beach, in New York City.
Well, okay,
I don't
you
know
better
if I have
say
a reservation, so if Bobby's watching, we're coming in.
You better, you better be careful. Get you the good table this way.
Do you know, can I spot...
Does something happen? I mean, you've been
absolutely.
doing this.
I can read... I remember the first time I had seen Paula Deen on TV, and I tell that story often. I remember being at home and turning on the TV, and there was this kind of, mature woman, and there was something about her that I remember taking out my BlackBerry and writing her name down and making a note. Oh, sure. I remember what she was making.
What was she making?
A blueberry tart.
Really?
I remember it, and I remember emailing on Monday morning saying to myself, find out who that lady is and who represents her. And I was not surprised at all that she became a huge star. I remember the first time being up at the William Morris offices, probably 10 years ago, and one of the agents over there, John Rosen, showing me this reel. And he said, look at this girl. He said, tell me what you think about her. And I remember watching her and saying, this is going to be a big star. And John Rosen, who's the agent at William Morris, said to me, well, next year, when she's a star, we'll bring her to your festival. And I said, I don't want her next year. I said, I want her now so that when people see her when she's that big star, that they're going to remember that they saw her at first at the South Beach Wine and Food Festival. And there was something about Giada when I saw her, that girl next door, beautiful, talented. She was a real, unlike a lot of Food Network personalities who are great cooks, Giada is a caterer, has a great catering background. And there was something about the way she handled a knife, or something about the way she turned on the electricity on that you kind of knew that she was a pro, and that came across. Not only is she talented, not only could she relate to people, but she's certainly pleasing to look at.